should be this. All right, let's try this. Okay, can you still hear me, Phil?
I can hear you.
I just turned my microphone off. You can hear me. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you try talking now? Huh.
I'm actually talking. Can you hear me?
Same as my system. I'm not hearing you. What else can I do here?
How about
Interesting. Any ideas for what I can do to fix this? Oh, wait, hang on. Bill, will you keep talking for me?
Yep, sure.
All right, I had my, we're fine now.
Oh, is it working now?
Yes, it is, because I had my sound turned down.
Okay. Good.
Oh, you know, it's always going to be something.
All right, 2 people are coming in. I'll just be in the background and
Am I host? You can make me co-host.
Oh, okay. One moment, please.
Sure.
There you go. So I'll just call my attention if you need anything. Okay?
Sure. Thanks. Hello, everyone. Let me.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's still morning here in good old San Jose, California. But I understand we're calling in from all over the place.
Right.
Is this anyone's first time on GetSetUp? Feel free to just do a yes, raise your hand, Diana, Billy. We have some new folks.
Hello.
Hi, Connie.
Hi.
There's Dolores.
Hi.
Hi. Happy Monday. It's Monday. Yes, it is. We have a big group coming in today. Always really exciting.
Punch where it says start video.
Is that Mary? There you go. I see you.
Oh, okay.
Smile. You're on camera.
Okay.
Hi, Carol. It's so good to see you.
Please take my picture.
Hi. Oh, I love it. I love his background. So we have a big group today, which is always very exciting. And we have some brand new folks. For those of you who this is your first time on GetSetUp, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here today. I also wanted to introduce Phil. Phil is with our GetSetUp support team. Yay, support! We really love our support team. They're amazing. And Phil is going to be helping me out today, monitoring the chat. And Phil, I'm going to actually ask you if you will mute everyone. I'm going to show everybody how to mute and unmute themselves. But sometimes we just have background noise, and I'm just trying to be mindful of folks. So Phil is here to help us out. And when I show everyone how to work with the chat, if you have any questions, you can feel free to add questions to the chat. So pretty exciting. And we're probably going to have more folks joining us, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and kick off the class. And I'm just going to share my screen just for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I stop sharing so that you can have full access to your screen, because sometimes when I share my screen, it cuts off some of your buttons. So just give me 2 or 3 minutes, then I'll stop sharing and we're just going to jump right into it today. So I just have a few things to cover. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Oh, I made that pretty big. You can see like, whoa. Let's resize this fella. All right, that's much better. All right, welcome everyone. This is Getting Started with Zoom for Beginners. I'm Vicki. I'm your Get Set Up guide for today. I'm calling in from San Jose, California. For those of you who are not sure where that is, it's in Northern California, the heart of Silicon Valley. And speaking of Silicon Valley, I worked in high tech for 30 plus years. So I've done a lot of different things, technical support. I've done lots of technical training and instructional design. I've taught folks from around the world. I've taught people who are very technical, but I've also taught lots of folks who are more like you, just starting to dip their toes into this world of technology. And for me, being a guide with GetSetUp really lets me do what I love best, and that is educating folks about technology. So that's just a little bit about me for those of you who I haven't met before. We're a training organization here at GetSetUp, and we love it when folks turn their cameras on. If you don't know how, I will show you in just a minute. It just makes it more interactive when we get to see each other. But honestly, I understand if people aren't comfortable doing that. So I leave this decision up to you, your choice. We are recording today's session just so that you know. And if you would like a copy of this recording, please email us at help@getsetup.io and just let us know the name of the class and today's date. For those of you who are joining us via live stream, welcome. You can hear and you can see everything we're doing in class today. But I always recommend that folks, go onto our getsetup.io website. Go ahead and enroll in a class or classes, and that way you can really fully participate in class. Just so that folks know, GetSetUp is not being paid. Our guides are not paid to promote any products or services. For us, it's all about the training. We offer classes, interest groups, social hours, 7 days a week. We are offering classes from the US, the UK, India, Australia, New Zealand, and we're actually going to be bringing Singapore on board in just a bit. So we have offerings 24/7, and we have something for everyone.
Is that it?
Oops, I'm just going to mute everybody. All right, sorry about that. We have something for everyone 24/7. So I always joke with folks in my classes, if you're an insomniac and you're up wandering around at 2 in the morning, log on to GetSetUp. There'll be something there for you. So just a little bit about us. And for folks, as you start taking more and more classes, interest groups, social hours, if you are interested in maybe hosting a social hour or an interest group, please let us know. We always love to pull in our community members, get them more involved. We've also made changes to our website in the past month or so, and we've made it a lot easier to invite others. So if you've been enjoying the classes you've been taking, social hours or interest groups, when you enroll in a class, you now have the option to tell friends about this class or share it on social media, on Facebook or email. So if you really enjoy what you've been seeing here, share the love, or as we like to say, share the learning when you book a class. All right, what are we going to cover today? First, we're going to start off by showing everyone how do you turn your cameras and your mics, your audio on and off. That's really important. We're going to show you how you use the chat feature. This is where you can type in questions or comments, what are some of the things that you can do on the participant screen? We're going to talk a little bit about some Zoom etiquette tips, and I'll also show you how you can change your view, gallery view versus speaker view. So with that, I'm going to stop my sharing. And let's go ahead and start using Zoom. So this is a beginner class. We're going to be pressing buttons and clicking on things all together. If you get stuck, please let me know. If you have any questions, just again, let me know. And there's no silly questions. We're all beginners here. So to start with, I want to make sure everybody is comfortable turning their cameras on and off. So you always know if your camera is on, because when you look at your screen, and I know we're on different devices today, so I'll guide folks through that as well. When you're looking at your computer screen or your device screen, if you see your picture on the screen, your camera's turned on. If you just see your name, it means that your camera is turned off. So let me show you how you turn your camera on and off. For folks who are on a PC today, on a laptop or desktop, a MacBook, whatever, what you'll do is you'll take your mouse, so you'll tap on the bottom of your screen. And for those of you who are on Chromebooks, the same thing. You'll be tapping on the bottom, or you may need to jiggle your mouse at the bottom of your Zoom window, and that will display your Zoom control bar. So that's where your Zoom control bar lives. For those of you who are on a tablet today, whether it's an Android tablet or an iPad, you're going to tap on the top of your Zoom window, your screen, and that will activate your Zoom control bar. And you'll know it's a Zoom control bar because you'll start to see little icons, little symbols that will say, you'll see a chat, participants, mute or unmute, stop video, start video. So that's what your Zoom control bar looks like. For those of you who are on a phone today, a smartphone, you're just going to tap on the bottom of your phone screen and you'll see your Zoom control bar there. So on your Zoom control bar, and Audrey, did you have a question? I see that your hand is raised. Feel free to unmute yourself, even though we haven't gotten to that yet.
In places where you don't have, let's say,
Audrey will need to.
You can imagine that in the next few weeks, you're going to see places.
And I'm just going to need to.
Big mass transit.
But I have, Phil, can I have you just mute?
Obviously, concerts. So
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. So I see some of us have questions, but before I get to your questions, in order to turn your camera on, for those of you who don't have your camera on yet, on your Zoom control bar, you will see an icon towards the left side of that Zoom control bar, and it will say start video. So if you have your camera currently turned off, if you tap or click on that start video icon, it looks like a little video camera, that will turn your camera on. If your camera is on, you can see yourself. What you can do is to turn your camera off. That icon now says stop video. And if you click or tap on stop video icon, that turns your camera off. So let's go ahead and start practicing just tapping on the stop video and start video to turn your cameras on and off. And it looks like, OC, did you have a question? I see some people have their hands raised. So if you, OC, if you want to unmute yourself, if you know how to do that.
Okay, and I just can't see myself in the picture.
You
I
don't
see my name.
Okay, I see something. I actually don't see your name. I see some picture. It's a white background behind there. Could you maybe, do you have your camera such that it's up too high? Can you move your, you might have to actually take the lid of your laptop and just move it down. Are you on a, iPad today or a tablet? There you go. There you go. I see you. Hi.
Hi.
All right, there you go. Sometimes we also have to figure out, well, where is the camera located? Because, you know, it's pointing up to the ceiling, down to the floor.
All
All
right.
right. Wonderful. I'm just going to mute you for a second. Marianne, did you have a question? I see your hand
Yes.
raised.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have what you said that we're supposed to push on. I don't have that.
So, Marianne, you're on an iPad today?
Yes.
All right. So when you tap on the top of your iPad screen, do you see that Zoom control bar? It has a number of different symbols,
Yeah,
icons.
I have leave and then Zoom and mute, start video, share
When
content.
you tap on your start video icon, what happens? Let's try
I
that.
don't have a start video on here.
Oh,
That's
you
what
do.
I was,
Oh, so next to your mute button, it doesn't say start video.
no, it just says Zoom.
Okay, and you're actually in your Zoom control,
Yeah.
your Zoom window.
Yeah,
you
I don't know.
s-
I hit something the one day and that's when I lost the picture.
So what are you seeing right now? Do you see all of us?
When I
You see
hit
me?
participants, yeah, I do.
Okay. And then, so you do see, oh, you see the list of names. Okay. So,
Well, I had the picture. I had you all before.
okay. You know what I'm thinking? At the very, you said that there was another Zoom. You don't want to select, don't tap on leave. That's for sure.
Right, right.
Okay. And you don't have any other,
It just says record and then switch to gallery view.
what happens when you tap on switch to gallery view?
I get everybody. And then there's mine iPad up there.
Okay. All right. So as long as you can see us, I may need to work with you after class if you feel okay holding on for a few minutes afterwards.
Right.
All right. As long as you can see us, then we're good. So sorry. So just hang on. We'll get to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. No problem. Thanks for being patient. All right. So it looks like most of us were able to turn our cameras on and off. And it's great seeing everybody's picture, I have to say. And it's really good to know how to do that because sometimes you will be joining a Zoom meeting and the host of the meeting will have set it up so that when all the participants come in, their cameras are turned off by default. And so you'll need to find that Zoom control bar, whether it's at the bottom of your screen or at the top of your screen, and then click or tap on that start video icon on that Zoom control bar. So that's the first thing that we've done. Next, let's talk a little bit about muting and unmuting ourselves. So what we'll do is on your Zoom control bar, whether it's at the top, at the bottom, and again, sometimes you may have to jiggle your mouse a little bit or tap to activate or display your Zoom control bar. On the very left-hand side, you will see another icon, a little symbol that has a microphone. Now, how do you know if you're currently muted? Well, aside from trying to talk and people saying, you're muted, unmute yourself, you're going to see that a lot. If you look on your little video display square, on the lower left-hand side of that square, if you see a red microphone with a slash through it, that tells you that you are currently muted. So to unmute yourself, you'll find that Zoom control bar and you'll see that little microphone icon. And if you're currently muted, it will say unmute and you can always click or tap on it. If you're unmuted, then it will say mute. And so I want to make sure people know how to unmute themselves. You simply tap on the icon that says unmute, that activates your microphone. You can start talking and then you always just click on the mute icon to mute yourself again. And so that's another really important skill to have when you're first starting, when you're hopping on these Zoom calls, how to turn your camera on and off, and how to mute and unmute yourself. And so let me know if anyone has any questions at all about muting, unmuting. The next thing that we're going to cover, yeah, Eileen, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. If I come in and the host turns my camera on, turns my mic on mute, can I automatically unmute it when the host turn it on mute?
Yes. So there's sort of almost two answers to that question. You can always mute and unmute yourself, except sometimes a host may actually disable your ability to unmute yourself or control your microphone. And they may do that if there's a very large number of participants. If there's 60 people, 100 people on a Zoom meeting, sometimes it's easier for the host to control the meeting, and they will disable participants' abilities to unmute themselves.
And we also do that if you interrupt too much. I've done that before. Interrupting thing, I mean.
Yeah. Yes. And, and that's up to the host, but there are other ways to communicate. We're going to talk about the chat, doing a virtual hand raise. So just be aware of that. But by default, Eileen, you should be able to unmute yourself. And if for some reason you can't, you're probably thinking, oh, it's possible the host has disabled this ability. So I'm going to show you other ways to communicate with folks in that case. But great question. Yeah, I hope I answered it for you. But you can always mute and unmute yourself. All right, let's talk a little bit about some Zoom etiquette points, Vicki's Zoom etiquette tips for the day. The first one has to do with our microphones. So Raven actually sort of segued into this one. When you first join a Zoom meeting, and I'm not talking about if you're on a meeting with friends and family, that's different. When you're in a meeting with, a more formalized classroom type of a meeting such as this one, it's always a really good practice to keep your microphone muted, to stay on mute. And that's because, we have we're at home, there's lots of background noise, there's traffic, people are coming into the room, asking questions, the phone's ringing. So keep yourself on mute. And then if you have a question or you want to make a comment, simply unmute yourself, ask away or make a comment, and then put yourself back on mute again. So that's a really good tip and a practice to get comfortable with. And today, since we're all beginners and we're a little unsure, from time to time, if I start hearing background noise, just know I'm going to ask Phil to mute folks. And just, it's nothing you've done wrong. Sometimes I'm just trying to cut down on some of the background noise today. The second Zoom etiquette tip has to do with our cameras. So there may be times when you need to just walk away from a Zoom meeting for a minute or two. You need to answer the door, let the dogs out, whatever it may be. A good tip, a good practice is to stop your video, click or tap on that stop video button, walk away, and then when you're ready to come back to the meeting and rejoin the meeting, simply tap or click on the start video icon. It's just out of consideration for other folks. It can be very distracting if you have your camera on and if you're getting up and moving around, just so if you do need to get up, just go ahead and stop your video, do what you need to do, and then come back and start your video again. So you're not leaving the meeting at all. You're just temporarily turning off your camera, really. So let me know if you have any questions about that. Those are my Zoom etiquette tips. The next thing that I want to cover, I want to show you how you can use the chat feature. So it's possible you could join a Zoom meeting. There may be lots of participants and the host may disable your ability, let's say, to unmute and mute yourself. And the host may say, folks, if you have any questions or have any comments, please leave them in the chat. And we first need to figure out, well, how do you, open the chat? Where do you find it? And then how do you start sending messages or entering questions into the chat? So to find your chat, if you're on a PC or a laptop, MacBook, remember, you're going to find your Zoom control bar at the bottom of your screen. So for PC users, and when I say PC users, I'm talking about anyone who is on a laptop today or a desktop, if you're on a MacBook, and on your Zoom control bar, you will see an icon that says chat. And so you can tap or click on that chat icon. If you are on a phone, a smartphone, or a tablet today, you are going to find your chat. On your Zoom control bar, you will see a button or an icon that has 3 dots on it, and it says More. If you tap on that More button, there is another drop-down menu that displays, and in that drop-down menu, that's where you'll find chat, and you can tap or click on that. And so again, it's either going to be that chat icon right on that Zoom control bar, or if you have a smartphone, tablet, you will tap or click on the More button, and then you will see the chat option. You can tap or click on that in the menu. And so what happens next is, depending upon the device that you have, if you're on one of these PCs, a laptop, your chat window will open up to the far right of your Zoom window. That's where your chat opens up. If you're on another device, for example, if you're on a phone today, the chat window just takes over your whole phone screen. That's how it works. If you're on a tablet today, your chat window may show up towards the middle of your screen. So different devices work just a little bit differently. And once you have your chat window open, the way that we're going to start entering in comments, questions, is if you'll go down to the very bottom of that chat window, all the way to the bottom, you'll see a message that says something like type message here, or it may say, if you're on a smart device, a mobile device, tap here to type your message. What you'll do is right where you see that type message or tap here, you're going to start typing out a message, and let's send a greeting. Everybody, let's send a greeting, and let me know where you're calling from today. So you'll type out your message down at the very bottom.
Excuse me for 1 minute, Vicki. Mine won't come all the way down to the bottom where I can type. I keep putting my mouse on the line where you can scroll down, but it won't come down.
I'm going to share my screen for just a moment, if that's okay. Let me show you what mine looks like.
Are you on a computer or a laptop?
I'm on a laptop.
You can press Alt-H, the Alt key and H at the same time. What
is that? Yeah.
Press what?
Alt and then H. That might be.
While you're holding down the Alt key, press H.
Okay. Okay, I see it. Thank you.
There's shortcuts. You can press V instead of H to stop the video or start it again, and A if you want to mute or unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for that. And once you finish typing out your message, if you're on a laptop, a PC today, you will press the Enter key on your keyboard to send the message to the chat. For those of you who are on a smartphone or a tablet, you're going to tap on the send button. It has a blue background, looks like a white paper airplane on it. You'll just tap on that to send your message. If you're on a smartphone, if you're on a tablet. And this is my favorite part of class, because as I'm scrolling through, I get to see where everybody's calling in from. We have Colorado, California. We have Ontario. Welcome, Ontario. Las Vegas. We got New York, Detroit, Buffalo, Maryland. Woohoo! Bay City. We got more Michigan, Canada. Thank you, Canada. Alabama.
Hey.
We have, let's see, San Francisco. More Michigan, New York, and Madison. This is great. I just love this. This is my favorite part. I love to see where everybody's calling from. And so this is the chat window for those of you who haven't used this before. Very useful. What we've been doing so far is we have been sending messages to everyone, which means we can all see the messages that we've been sending to the chat. Now, there's also the ability to send a private chat to another participant in the list. So if you wanted to send a message just to one other person and only that person can see it, this is how you'll do it. Again, at the very bottom of your chat window, just right above where you may have typed out your message, you'll see that there is a button that says everyone. And if you tap on that button or click on it, what that does is it brings up a list of all the participants in today's class. Now, you won't see your name in that list because you don't send yourself messages in the chat. You send messages to everyone else. So what you can do is you can, find another participant's name in the list, select their name, and then you can type out a message to that person. And if you're on a PC, you'll press enter, or you'll tap the send button if you're on, a mobile device. And then what you're doing is you're sending a private message to that person, that one participant. Nobody else can see it. This is good to know about because you may, while you're in a meeting, you may want to send maybe just the host a message or one other person a message and not have everyone see it. And this is how you'll do it. Now, just be aware from time to time, the host may have disabled the ability for this personal chat option. Usually they don't, but I know teachers like to do this when they've been teaching. But just know so that when you click on that everyone button, if you're in a meeting and you don't see a list of all the other participants' names, you maybe just see the host's name and everyone listed, it's because the host has turned off this private chat ability. And also pay attention. If you've been sending someone a private message, what you're going to see is that button which said everyone changes. And it will now just read the participant's name that you sent the private message to. So be careful. If you wanted to then put a message into the chat so that everyone can see it, always make sure that you go back and click on that button. Make sure it says everyone. You may have to scroll all the way up to the top of the participants list to find everyone. So that's how, it always happens. I have folks who were sending a private message to someone, and then they're trying to send me a message or somebody, to everyone, put in a comment. They're like, it's not working. I'm like, I can't see your message. And that's because they forgot to change that, the to or the send to, back to everyone. So just a tip. Anybody have any questions or having any problems? Carol, did you have a question?
Vicki, yeah, I just wanted to ask you, in terms of sending a message to a private person, do you have to select the person first and then do the message and then?
Yes.
Or is it a sequence to that?
You want to click on that everyone button, select the person's name from that list, and then type out your message and send it.
Okay, thank you.
Great question. Yeah. Osi, do you have a question? I see your hand raised.
Not anymore. That was my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
I love it. Cassandra, did you have a question by any chance?
Okay, by my name, it has me. Why is that me showing?
Great question. I get that all the time. I don't know why Zoom does this. I wish they wouldn't, but when you send a message in the chat window, what you see is from me to everyone, but the rest of us see from, Vicki or from Osi to everyone. It's just two different displays. Everybody knows that the message is coming from you. Your name is prominently displayed in the chat window. And for whatever reason, it's just displayed differently for your individual chat window. So we all know you don't have to do anything but send your message. Everybody knows that it's coming from you. So, Vicki, did you have a question? Yeah, I'm having a question. Sorry, Vicki, I couldn't hear you. You might want to, if you have a question, feel free to put it into the chat. All right. Yeah, Eileen, did you have a question? You'll have to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Are you saying the me, when you send the me, the person sees okay, I sent a message to someone, they seen the me, but did they actually see my name that it came from?
Yes.
Even though it had me. Okay.
That's correct. Yes. I know it's confusing. Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked that though. Yeah. All right. And again, great questions. Thank you. Let's go ahead and close the chat window. Because for some of you, if we're on a PC or a laptop today, that chat window just stays all the way to the right-hand side of our screen. It's out of the way. But for others, if you're on a smartphone today, or depending upon if you're on a smaller tablet, I have an iPad mini, that chat window is right in the middle and there's nothing you can do. So let's go ahead and practice closing our chat window. And if you're on a PC today, laptop, all you need to do is go down to your Zoom control bar. And if you click or tap on that chat icon, it will close down your chat window. If you're on a smartphone or a tablet, you can just tap on the word close in the upper left-hand corner, and it will close down your chat window as well.
Vicki?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Now, when I'm trying to close down my chat window, I will press the X, but when I press the X for the chat, it comes up either leave meeting or cancel.
Yeah, so don't do that. So Carol, what device are you on? I'm sorry.
A laptop.
A laptop. I think the easiest thing for you to do is go down to your Zoom control bar.
Okay.
And then click or click on that chat icon again, because people do this, they get confused.
Okay.
And when you click on the chat icon, it closes your chat window.
Yes, it did.
And so this is what we call a toggle. Fancy word, toggle. When you click on the chat icon once, it opens it. When you click on that chat icon again, it closes it. It's easier to do it this way, I think, because otherwise too many people leave the meeting by mistake. There is another way of closing the chat window, but I think this is just the easiest when you're on a PC.
Okay, thank you.
This is Cassandra. I clicked on the chat down at the bottom,
Yeah.
and my window still didn't close.
It didn't close. What happens when you click on it one more time?
The same thing, it's not closing.
It isn't closing. Cassandra, what icon are you on? What device are you on?
I'm on an HP.
Oh, you're on a Chromebook.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't have my Chromebook with me today. Oh, I know I should have. Cassandra, let me go ahead and do a little bit of, and you can, is it okay for you to keep your chat window? I think it's all the way to the right, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. So don't worry about closing it right now.
Okay.
There is actually another, let me go ahead. I want to share my screen just for a moment. You can try this. Just give me 1 second to just share the screen. One of the things you can do is, this is the participant screen, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
You may see one of these little down arrow buttons over here. It may be hidden for you. If you click on this little down arrow button, then there's another close option. Sometimes people have a hard time seeing this little teeny down arrow button. It's available for if you're on a PC or a laptop. I just click on that and you can click on close. So let me stop sharing my screen because sometimes it's going to eclipse what you're trying to see. So if you can find that, great. Otherwise, don't panic. Just leave your chat window open. And I need to take a look at what's happening on the Chromebook. So thanks for being patient. I appreciate it. Don't panic.
Thank you.
Akua, you're welcome. Akua, did you have a question? Oh, you're muted. She's like,
Thank you. I was going to ask about that, what you just finished speaking about, and I understand how to do both, use both to close it. But I want to know, what is pop out?
Oh, for pop out, what it allows you to do is it right now, that chat window by default, it's fixed. If you're on a PC, you only have access to this if you're on a PC laptop.
On a laptop.
Yeah, it's in a fixed position. If you select that pop out, it then allows you to take that window. It pops out to its own separate window. The chat, you can also do it for participants, and you can move it around. So I have mine in pop out mode because I need to move it to my second monitor. So because I have too many things going on. So that's what the pop out allows you to do. It just allows you to pop it out of its fixed position into its own separate window, and then you can move that window around on your screen.
How do you reverse that? Like
what you can do.
If I click on it and now, okay, I want to put it back the way it was.
Right, sure. And what you can do is what I've done here is on your chat window, if you go down to the lower right-hand corner, you will see a button that has 3 dots on it. And when you click on the button with 3 dots, one of the menu options is at the very bottom, merge to meeting window. And then it will snap back into its original place. So hopefully that helps. And that's only available if you're working on the PC version. So hopefully, did that answer your question?
Yes, I just did it as you talked. Thank you.
Okay, wunderbar. Great. And that's a little bit more advanced, kids. So if you're brand new to this, just deep breath and let it out. All right. So that is our chat window. Very exciting. I get to see where everybody's calling in from. You'll be using it a lot in Zoom. The next thing that I wanted to show you was using the participant screen, because there are a few things that we can do there. To open up your participant screen, what you'll do is, if you're on a PC, laptop, you'll go down to the bottom of your screen where your Zoom control bar lives, and you will see on your Zoom control bar an icon that says participants. It's a little icon, looks like it has an outline of people with the number 26. For folks on a smartphone or on a tablet, again, you'll just tap on the top or the bottom of your screen, and on your Zoom control bar, that's where you'll see your participant screen. And so if you click on your participant's icon, it opens up another window. And again, for those folks on a laptop or PC, that participant screen opens up to the right-hand side of your Zoom window. Again, if you're on a smartphone, the participant screen just, completely overtakes your phone screen. And for other devices, it will probably open up in the middle. So what you're looking at here is a listing of all the participants in today's class. You can scroll up and down the list. There are two different things that I really want to show you what's important here on this participant screen. So for those of you who are coming in today and maybe you're using somebody else's device, or your device just says iPad, or there's a phone number, if you would like to rename your little video display screen, this is where you can do it. This is one of the places where you can change your name. So on the participant screen, if you find your name in the list, if you're on a PC today or a laptop, when you find your name in the list, as you hover, as you move your mouse over your name, there are two buttons, blue buttons that appear. You can click on the blue button that says More, and when you do that, you will see an option called Rename. If you're on a phone or a tablet today, all you need to do is tap on your name in the list of participants, and you'll see the same little drop down. You can click or tap on Rename in that menu. And when you do that, there is a small little text editor box that pops open, that displays, and it will say, enter a new screen name. And this is where you can type out a new display name. You can, just backspace to get rid of what's there, and just put a new name in there. And then when you're done typing out your new name, you can click or tap on OK or Done. It depends on the device that you're on. And it will rename you'll see your name has changed. Now, you don't have to do this today. Carol, did you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, because unfortunately mine always says Carol Espanol when I go to my Spanish meetup. So I don't know where that came from. Did I set that in a setting in my, when I logged into Zoom? I don't know how I did it or when. I remember doing it. I don't know how.
Right. So if you have a Zoom account, Carol's like, I help me here. You can permanently change that display name if you go into your Zoom account profile. And again, not everybody has a Zoom account. So if you have been clicking on, if you're a participant and you've just been clicking on links that people have emailed you, like GetSetUp or other friends and family, you do not need to have a Zoom account to join a meeting. But Carol, I have a feeling you have a Zoom account, which is fine. We have other classes that talk about how you can host a Zoom meeting. You'll need a Zoom account. You can go into your Zoom account profile and change your name permanently. So what I'm showing you how to do here, this does not change your display name permanently. It's whatever you've typed in today. It's only good for the duration of today's Zoom meeting. As soon as our meeting ends today, when you go into your next Zoom meeting, you'll need to reset or change your Zoom display name. So this is only temporary, but you can do it every time you go onto a Zoom meeting if you'd like. And what I'll be happy to do is I'm going to be providing after class notes today. You'll be receiving an email from me, and I can put in instructions on if you have a Zoom account, how you can permanently change your display name. So that's one of the things that you can do with your participant screen. It's to rename your little display name there. And it's good to know because sometimes if you're coming in with on somebody else's device, maybe someone's phone or an iPad or what have you, you know, the host may say, hi, the person coming in is iPad. Can you please rename yourself? So give us your first and last name. So it's always nice to do that. And Akua, did you have a question? I see that little hand raised.
Yeah. Can a host permanently rename? Like I have a lot of people coming in on phone. And so it's just phone numbers. And I don't know everybody's phone number. So if I is it a way that I can change the phone number to their name permanently? Or
Yes.
they have to do it?
No, do you have a Zoom account?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm going to show you how to, I'm going to include instructions with the after class notes on how to permanently rename yourself using your profile in your Zoom profile.
Not me. I can do me. I'm talking about the 113 other people in that particular Zoom class. And because there's so many of them, I don't know everyone's phone number. And sometimes people use other people's phones to call in.
Exactly.
And all it is just a phone number. And it helps when I'm trying to figure out who is who, when I'm looking at the panel, if I could put their names there permanently. Instead of try to do it every meeting.
Yeah. Let me find out for you. Not sure. You may have to like be an administrator to do that, have administrative rights.
You mean administrator, the host?
No, actually be an administrator. Well, it depends on the type of account you have. Let me find out for you. That's a great question.
I need to know the answer to that also, Vicki.
Mm-hmm.
I found when I hosted a meeting and it was numbers on there I didn't know, I had to ask the people who phoned in, could you please in the chat box tell me your name and associated it with the phone number.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what you have to do. Yeah, I hear you.
I tried that, but because there's so many of them, if everybody start talking at one time and a lot of people don't know how to do, I've been trying to get them to get on this program.
That's
so
right.
So they can learn how to use the chat.
Yep. Let me see if there's a way as a host, maybe there are certain settings. Let me find out. I really like that question. And that's how I learned too. I don't have administrator rights to our GetSetUp account, but I can certainly do some research and find out for you. Because it sounds like a couple of us have the same question.
Yes.
Okay. Another question. Somebody asked about backgrounds. Virtual backgrounds. I have a virtual background. We actually have a class, and in a couple of minutes, I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk about some of the other Zoom classes that you can take that you might be interested in. One of them is setting your virtual background. So that's a great class to take. The next thing that I wanted to cover is changing our views. How do we change our view? Because you can have one of two different views when you're working in Zoom. So we have a gallery view, and we also have a speaker view. So how do we get there? So first of all, the gallery view, if you're looking at your screen right now and you see a list of all these other people there, you can see everybody's little square, video display square. I call this the Hollywood Squares view. For those of you who used to watch Hollywood Squares. So to change your view, what you'll do is if you're on a PC today, a laptop or a desktop, what you can do is go up to the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom window, and you'll see a button that says View. If you click on the view button, there is a little drop-down menu that displays its speaker view and gallery view and full screen. So if you're currently on gallery view, where you can see a number of other participants on your screen, it will have a check mark there. If you see speaker view and it has a check mark there, then you're probably just seeing me in a much larger video window with participants either up top or to the right. And what you can do is to switch back and forth. You can click on either speaker view or gallery view. And that is how, if you're on a PC, you'll switch back and forth. Now, why do I call it Hollywood Squares? It's a TV show that I used to watch as a kid. I don't know if anybody else sees Hollywood Squares. Yeah, Carol knows. And it looked just like that. Everybody on TV, they were, in a square. And that's why it's, you need to be a certain age, I guess, to know about that. So for those of you who are on a PC or laptop, use that view button, click on that view button to switch back and forth between speaker view and gallery view. If you're on a tablet today, what you can do is tap on the left-hand side of your screen. You will see an icon and it will say either switch to gallery view or switch to active speaker view. And so that's for tablet users. You can just keep tapping on that icon and it will switch you back and forth to the different views between gallery view and speaker view. Now, if you're on a smartphone today, not sure if we have any smartphone users, your device works a little bit differently. What you'll need to do is on your smartphone, you'll need to take your finger and you'll need to swipe to the left. So by default, you're probably in speaker view. You've probably just been seeing me. But if you start swiping to the left on your smartphone, you will start to see participants, multiple participants. On a smartphone, you can see up to 4 participants on a screen at a time. You'll need to keep swiping left to see more participants. If you're on a tablet today, you can see up to, I think it's maybe 16 participants in your gallery view. You can also swipe to the left to see more participants. And for those of you on a laptop, you can see up to 49 participants. And again, if you may need to, there's a setting that you can also work with to see up to 49 participants. So that's how you're going to switch back and forth between these 2 different views. And the reason why you might want to move into speaker view. So in gallery view, everybody's square is very small. And as there are more and more participants who join the meeting, the little video, squares get smaller and smaller. So if the speaker or the host is trying to show something on their screen, it can get very small. It can be very difficult to see what they're showing on their screen. And that's when you might want to switch into speaker view to make the speaker's video screen a little bit larger, so it's easier to see what they are showing you on their screen. Yeah, Carol, question.
This may be unrelated, but I take notes and I screenshot everything. So when I'm in speaker view, I don't want to see all the little people at the top or side because it takes away from my space that I want to screenshot. Any way I can get rid of that?
Yeah, there is. Let me go into my speaker view. Yeah, I am. If you click, once you, it may be different when I'm sharing my screen. You also see something a little bit different to your screen and you have some more selections there. I'm not sharing my screen right now.
Are you saying that I can just move it like you were telling us before to move things, to move those people away?
You can't really once you're in, even in speaker view, you're still going to either show it up top or on the right. It depends on, yeah. So that's really probably about it. Yeah, when you're in gallery view or in speaker view. It's just a Zoom thing. The next thing I wanted to show folks, but thank you for that question. Yeah, I'm wondering, you know what, let me, when I share my screen, more options. I have to do some testing here because when I share my screen, I have different options than you as a participant. So sometimes when I share my screen, so for example, if I were just to share the screen right now, let me just do that. Your view changes a little bit and you have some additional options when you click on the view button. See if I may be obscuring your view button. So let me go ahead and stop sharing the screen because people get it obscures certain people's buttons. So I'll take a look at that. And if I can find anything, Carol, I'll include it in after class notes. One thing that I did want to talk to you about that before I let you go, I want to talk about virtual hand raising. And so if the host has disabled your ability to mute and unmute yourself, you have the other option of using the chat window or raising your hand. And I don't mean doing everybody raising their hand like this. What I'm talking about is a virtual raise hand. Let me show you where that is. So if you're on a PC today, and I understand we're coming up to the hour, so if you need to leave, my apologies. But if you can stay on, just give me another minute or two. If you're on a laptop, a PC today, what you'll do is on the bottom, if you go down to the bottom on your Zoom control bar, you will see a button that says reactions. And if you click on it, that's where you see another button that says raise hand. If you're on a mobile device, whether it's a tablet or you're on your smartphone, what you'll do is you'll tap on that more button on your Zoom control bar, the one with the 3 dots. And this is where you will find your raise hand button. And let me know if you can't find your raise hand. And what you do is when you tap on that or click on that raise hand, and it looks like this, and what that is your virtual raising your hand. So as soon as you do that, the host will see that you've raised your hand and they can say, oh, Juanita, I see you've raised your hand. Let me unmute you and go ahead and please ask your question. And then when you've asked your question or you've made a comment, then you can either put yourself on mute or the host can mute you. And you need to be aware though, when you do this virtual raise hand, that little hand icon, even if you can't see it, the host can, it will stay up on your video screen for the remainder of the meeting, of the Zoom call, unless you lower it. And so if you forget to lower it, the host will keep seeing your hand raised and will come back and say, oh, Susan, I see you have your hand raised again. Do you have another question? And so what you want to do is when you raise your hand, when the host, unmutes you and you can get your question answered, you'll go back to that reactions button, or you'll tap on that more button, and then you want to click or tap on lower hand. And that lowers your hand. That takes off that virtual hand raise. Because if you don't, lower your hand, it will stay on there for the rest of the meeting. And so that is raise hand. The other thing that I wanted to close out the meeting with is talking about reactions. And if you're on a Chromebook today, you don't have this reactions button. Sorry about that. But for the rest of us, if you go to your Zoom control bar, and for those of us on a PC, you can tap or click on the reactions button. And right above that raised hand, you will see a number of about 6 other icons. For folks who are on a smartphone or on a tablet today, if you tap on your More button on the bottom of that menu option, that's where you'll see all of those 6 different icons or emojis. You'll see a heart, a clapping hands icon, thumbs up. There's about 6 of them, all different kinds. And when you click on one of these reactions, you will see that it appears on your virtual screen, on your little screen there, video screen. And then after about 5 seconds, they disappear. And so for Diana, for those of you who don't see the reactions button or don't see that raised hand, you may need to go to click on your participants icon and open up your participant screen. And on the bottom right-hand corner of your participant screen, that's where you'll see your raised hand. So you're just working off of a slightly different, older version of Zoom. Zoom updated their menus about 2 or 3 months ago. And so when are you going to use these reactions? Again, if you're on a Chromebook today, you're not going to see these reactions. It's just some devices work differently. So reactions are another way to interact with the host and with your participants, other participants in the meeting. So maybe there's a participant speaking and you really like something that they're saying. You may want to click on a reaction and just give them a thumbs up or a clap hands. It's just another way of providing feedback. It's nonverbal, and it really allows you to interact with participants. You don't have to unmute yourself and interrupt them. You can just sort of give them, a little attaboy kind of a thing, or attagirl. And again, that's the reactions. And it just allows you to interact with the host or interact with other participants. And we've gone over a few minutes. Sorry about that. Lots of great questions. And what I'm going to do today, remember, I'll be sending you after class notes. But before I let you go, let me just quickly share my screen because I want to show you some of the other classes that you can take when you go to our GetSetUp site. I'm on the home screen. If I type in this search guides and classes field, if I type Zoom, we immediately see a drop-down list of all the different classes. I'm just going to press enter so that it displays a listing of classes here. And these are all the different classes we offer for Zoom. There are some advanced classes if you're thinking about learning how to host and schedule a Zoom meeting. You might want to take this class. We have some additional tips and tricks. We have lighting, so a class on how you set up your lighting to look much better on a Zoom call. Advanced Zoom for hosts if you're looking to, how do I use these breakout rooms? And then we also have Zoom virtual backgrounds for those of you who want to figure out how do you get that beautiful beach scene in the back. And so I really strongly suggest go to our GetSetUp site, search for Zoom, and then see all the different classes that we have to offer. Let me stop sharing. And that's going to do it for us today. My apologies for going over. We had a nice large group today. I loved your questions. I hope for those of you who are just starting out, you're feeling a little bit more comfortable navigating with Zoom. And for those of you who've used Zoom a little bit, maybe you two were feeling a little bit more confident. And just thank you for joining me today. It's great to see faces that I've seen before. see some new faces. And again, I'll be on the call for a couple of minutes if people have additional questions. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Monday. And hopefully I'll see you soon in other classes. I teach some of the other Zoom classes, lots of Google classes. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Vicki?
Phil,
Yeah,
Phil,
question.
Yes,
Phil.
I do have a question after class is dismissed.
Yeah, we are dismissed. Ask
Oh, okay.
away.
Okay, well, the problem that I'm having, okay, I have a Zoom account, but I forgot my password. And okay, so when I go into that, okay, they're asking me for my password when I signed on with Facebook. But the problem is that I no longer have Facebook because someone had hacked my account. So how do I change my password on Zoom?
Now, so you know where to go to zoom.us, that website, right?
Yes, yes.
So let me just, give me a second. I'm on my zoom.us website. My account, let me, well, if I log out, I won't be able to do that. Okay. There are ways to contact support and get other, to help them with your resetting your password.
Yes.
So let me, I'll provide that information in our after class notes. Reset password. I just can't log off of my account right now.
Okay.
I'll show you. I'll include that in our after class notes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that. I was going to do it
That's all right.
online, then I realized if I log out, that might not be a good
That's
thing.
all right.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions I can answer? Carol, did you have a question?
Yes, when I look at myself, I can see everybody's face clearly, but I can't see my own. My face is dark. I know I'm sitting in a big chair and it's a little reflection. And I was wondering if you could see me clearly, but it's just that I can't see myself very.
No, you probably need some better lighting there.
Okay. Yeah.
And one of the classes that
There is a lighting class.
Yeah, it's how to look like a superstar on Zoom.
Okay.
And that you may need to get some additional lighting in front of you, even if it's a lamp, put it like right in front there.
All right. All right. Yes. All right. Thank you.
I want to see your beautiful face.
Jeez. Thank you.
Although sometimes I'm looking at my hair, I'm like, oh, I need a haircut.
The class was very good. Thank you, Vicki.
Yes.
You're so
thank
welcome.
You. Loved
Yes.
it.
Vicki, I just have a quick question.
Yes. Hi, Diana.
How do I change my background?
So that's a virtual background. And one of the classes that you want to sign up for is, I just had it on my screen. It is, which one? Zoom Virtual Backgrounds for Beginners. It's on May 17th. Yeah.
Thank you.
That will take you through exactly how to set this up.
Okay, thank you.
Vicki, this is Eileen.
Oh,
Vicki, my question is, maybe I should wait for another class to ask the question, but I have a personal account and I have an account with our church. Well, I'm logged in on an account for our church for being a host as well as a couple other people. But because I did a personal account for myself, for my business, my Mary Kay business, I seem to, every time I seem to go into the church account, my information comes up and I have a hard time. I cannot get in it again. Someone else have to bring me in. So is that something I need to go to the advanced class for?
no, it's, so Eileen, I know, because I have two Zoom accounts too. One's a personal account, one's for GetSetUp, and they have two completely different logins, username and password.
Yes.
Your two Zoom accounts also should be like that. So I'm trying to figure out, and this is with your church account.
Yes.
And so you're having problems logging in.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is it just, is there somebody in your church organization who's in charge of the account?
Yes.
Can they may need to help you with this? Is it just the password that you think is not correct?
I went in, you know, the screen that comes up, what does it say? John, schedule. I went into that, and I looked at that, but I actually put, when I pulled it up, I actually seen my personal account in that when I was trying to get into the church account.
Oh, okay. So you probably just need to log in, because that sometimes happens with me. You just are using the wrong login credentials
I'll go back and try it again, but I was using, you know, my ID for that other account.
For your personal account?
Yes.
Yeah, you should, because I go back and forth between my two accounts.
You know what? You know, that's what he told me. I shouldn't have any problem, but maybe I was doing something wrong. That's
okay. Yeah, because they're two separate accounts, two separate user ID and password.
Yes, totally separate.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I'll go back and check with him.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Cool. You've had a question. You've been waiting so patiently.
Well, I've been talking to Phil about it. He's finding it for me.
Okay. You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You are good. That's okay. All right. Any other questions I can answer? No, we're all good today? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. It's so good to see some of you again. I love it. And thank you, Phil, for your help today.
No problem.
Okay.
See you next time, Vicki.
Okay. Take care, everybody.